Hi everyone, my name is Maria Cohen. I am the co-founder of our nonprofit organization, Mujer Virtuosa. I would like to first acknowledge and thank all of you for opening and watching this video through all social media platforms or on our website as we speak. One of the most important questions that we ask ourselves every day, for those who are Christians and those who are non-Christians, is who is Jesus? Why did Jesus come? And why is December the most essential month of the whole entire year in Christianity? For me, the most important thing to do is kind of get a back history onto who he was before he was this omnipotente, huge son of God that we know today. So I want to get a little personal today. I don't really usually do this, but I think that a lot of us nowadays get so lost and so picked up on all these social media platforms and things we hear online that we forget to touch base with ourselves and, most importantly, touch base with our faith. So something that I read along about a week ago that really touched me and made me come to realization of who Jesus was for me, and maybe he can, be that same Jesus for you, or even give you a sense of clarity, is in the Bible in John chapter 15 verse 5. He says, "I am the vine and you are the branches. If you remain in me and I in you, you will bear much fruit. Apart from me, you can do nothing." So how can we strategically look at this quote, and what does it mean to you? Maybe to you it means something different. Maybe to me it'll mean something different. Maybe to your neighbor, to your friend, to your sibling, to your parents. For me, what I have understood and read from this message is we are little seeds that are planted in the ground, and seeds can't grow without what? Seeds can't grow without water. So a lot of the times we want to grow into these amazing paths that Jesus has for us, in terms of I want to be successful, I want to be a doctor, I want to have this career, or I need to have this money, I need to have this car. But a lot of the times they don't happen. Why don't they happen? Because sometimes, according to a very famous philosopher whose last name is Moshe, he wrote a book about how sometimes we have a recycled relationship with Jesus. How is that essential to this verse that I just told you? We're going to get to that. A lot of the times we ask Jesus and God, I want this and I want that, or even with the holidays coming up, Jesus, I want a new car. Jesus, I want this girl to notice me, or I want the coolest sneakers and I want the new iPad. All the time we're always talking about what we want. And sometimes we do it because we're afraid of what might happen if we don't. So if you look about this, it looks kind of like a transaction. And a relationship with God is not a transaction at all. And it shouldn't be a transaction with God at all. In fact, when we are planted into the ground as seeds, as ground, as I like to say, our purpose, a lot of the times we forget that Jesus is the water that pours down on us. So in similarity to the verse that I just read out loud, when we start to grow and we start to pour Jesus into our life as he is the water, we begin to grow like a tree. And trees grow branches, and they grow leaves, and even connect to other trees around us. We touch other people, and we don't even comprehend that. But a lot of the times when we're growing, when we get so excited about all the things that are happening, that we forget that we need water. And so sometimes we get dry, and we get brittle, and we get mean, and we're just a tree trunk, no branches. And we get frustrated and we hit walls. And why is that? It's because we're not letting Jesus pour himself on us. We're not allowing ourselves to be loved. We're not allowing ourselves to feel his compassion. Sometimes all we want is to talk, but we never take the time to listen. And just in that way, that same verse hits us with the things we want today. So I know for a fact, everything that I want to accomplish in life will be accomplished if I let Jesus into my heart. If I let his overflowing amount of love pour himself into me. Hence, I can grow these branches, and I can become what I want to be: a doctor, or a dermatologist, or a nurse, or I want to be a teacher or a lawyer. All these branches will grow as long as you do what? You read the Bible, you attend church, even something as simple as communicating with your friends about what the purpose of Christmas is. A lot of us forget what Christmas is, and we just think it's about presents, and it's not about presents. Maybe this Christmas with this verse, how we allow ourselves to grow, sometimes even a tiny little branch could be something as simple as fixing our critiquing, or the way that we judge people, or the way that we bully other people. Let's say, for example, and a lot of times this happens, most likely you don't see it, but it happens a lot, and we don't even notice that we're doing it. Even as Christians, even as people who aren't Christians, we do this so often. And we attend all these churches and these meetings, and we want to hang out with our friends and go to youth group, and we noticed one black sheep among us decides to go away. A lot of us are very quick to critique them and say, oh, well, you know what, they're going to go back to drugs, or they're going to go back to the rebellious way that they were before, or they're going to go back to their toxic ex-boyfriend. We're so quick to judge and critique them that we don't even notice that we're doing it. And that's not what Jesus had taught us. In fact, the way that Jesus would want us to go about it is to understand and put ourselves in their shoes, just like Jesus put himself in all his disciples' shoes. We take the time to put on something as simple as maybe some slippers, put ourselves in their shoes and say, hey, maybe they're going through a really tough time at home, maybe financially or mentally or physically, but we can lend them a helping hand, just like Jesus. Jesus will never say, oh, you know what? Whatever, she's going about her way, I don't care. No, Jesus will always be, here's my hand, I will always have it here. Don't be afraid, because I'm that wall that you can lean on. And some of us forget that we have a wall to lean on, and so we just kind of fall. But when you let Jesus pour himself into you as that seed, you begin to realize that you can lean on him. And your friend who's going through a tough time that you thought that you were judging, you can give them a hand, just like Jesus did. Let that hand sit there, just like a branch. And maybe just like branches have roots, that root will connect with you and grow a whole forest of trees. Something as simple as a kind thing to do during the holiday season can change everything for one person. And that one person can say, wow, thank you. Hey, Mom, did I tell you about this friend who knew that I was going through a hard time? Really, tell me more. And so what you're doing is you're connecting your roots that you're letting Jesus pour himself into, and you're creating a forest. Some of us even forget that even the disciples weren't perfect as well. They pushed themselves away from God sometimes as well, but God never judged them. God never critiqued them. In fact, God was like, I understand, but I'm still here for you. And even though they bashed walls, they forgot that even when they were in a prison cell, that door was open. And they didn't even realize that. And Jesus was right there, holding the door open for them. But that's why I'm saying in the holiday season, we shouldn't think about other people and critique and judge and ask for all these things and these transactions. No. Christmas is supposed to be merry, and to be merry, we share the love of God and being kind and helping a friend. Maybe you don't have the funds to give someone a great present. That's okay. That's fine. People understand. You could say something as simple as, hey, let's go get coffee together at my house. Okay, that's thoughtful. Thank you so much. The holiday season is meant to be spent in joy. And the best way we can do about that is, like I said, read the Word of God, attend church, attend service, be along your friends. Sometimes a lot of us are very introverts and we don't talk about our feelings. And so a lot of us just repress that. And something as simple as a hug can change that for someone. I know for a fact, on a very personal note, I was going through a really tough mental time last year, and I pushed away my family, and I pushed away God, and I pushed away Jesus. But the people who were closest to me were just like Jesus. They never took their hand away. And slowly I started to realize that the door was open, and what I did was take my family, my faith in God's and Jesus' hand, and I became the person I am today. And every day you can keep growing and growing and growing. Branches live thousands of years long. Trees live forever. And we tend to forget that. Trees don't fall. They're trees longer than we've been here for 100,000 years. Why? Because Jesus pours that amount of love into us. And even when we're gone, those roots will always be there. And that'll grow into a different tree. Maybe your son or your daughter. Maybe your grandkids. Maybe your grandparents. You don't know. So I would just like to say that I hope this holiday season brings joy and kindness into your heart, and that you let Jesus touch you and take the time, even something as simple as reading a chapter a day about the Bible. You'll feel encouraged to act differently, to be different. And so for me to you, as co-founder of a nonprofit organization, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, God bless you always. And if anybody would like more information, please feel free to contact us via social media or on our website as well. Thank you so much, and
Queremos darte la oportunidad de que conozcas de Jesús, de ese Dios maravilloso que hablamos en cada uno de nuestros devocionales, de nuestras charlas, y que tengas una hermosa relación con Él. ¿Orarías conmigo? Señor Jesús, me arrepiento de mis pecados. Ven a mi corazón y te haré mi Señor y Salvador. En Fundación Mujer Virtuosa creemos que si has hecho esta sencilla oración, has nacido de nuevo. Te invitamos a que vayas a una iglesia cercana a tu casa, compres una Biblia. Si no tienes los recursos económicos para comprar una, en Fundación Mujer Virtuosa te haremos llegar una hasta la puerta de tu casa. Porque cuando ponemos a Dios como prioridad en nuestra vida, Él nos lleva a lugares que nunca imaginamos. Gracias por compartir este mensaje.